What if I told you that no matter how much money you make, most people are still living paycheck to paycheck? That's right, even those making over $200,000 a year, my friends, they're struggling to break free. The real question is this: how do you know if you're saving enough of your paycheck to finally break that cycle and take control over your financial future? In this video, I'm going to give you the golden rule that, if followed, will virtually assure your financial success. Hey there, my friends. My name is Ryan Lee, and I've been where you are, questioning whether you're saving enough, frustrated with the conventional financial advice that just keeps you running in circles. This is the rat race. The truth is, traditional financial strategies have most people stuck. Even as people start making more money, they don't know how to build real wealth, because it's not about how much money you earn, my friends, it's actually about how much you save that matters most. Now listen, I've talked to people on both ends of the income spectrum, from people just barely getting by all the way to those making millions of dollars a year. And while making more money sounds great, and my friends, it is great to make more money, I've seen people earning millions of dollars go broke in a matter of a couple of months. In fact, we see this all the time with professional athletes. They go from making multi-million-dollar contracts to being completely wiped out and destitute a few short years after getting out of their sport. The key isn't how much money you make, my friends. The key is this: it's how much money you actually keep, your savings rate. In this video, I'm going to give you the golden rule, the one thing that you can do that, if done consistently over time, will make your financial freedom invincible. It won't just make your retirement dreams come true, it will give you more options and more control over your time and over your life right now. Now, here's the problem with the one thing. It's the least sexy part of investing, but it's the one thing that most people fail miserably at: your savings rate. This is the one thing that you have complete control over inside of your personal economy. How much money comes into your life and ultimately how much money goes out. And that delta, that gap between those two numbers, is the gap that makes all the difference. One of my first mentors challenged me to figure out how I could save 50% of my income. He said to me, Ryan, if you can figure out how to save 50% of your income while living comfortably, you have unlocked the key to financial freedom. It is impossible for you to not be financially free if you can do this one thing. Now, at first, I'll be honest with you, it seemed impossible. It seemed like something that he could say, but I couldn't actually do. But the challenge stuck with me. And over the years, I focused on two things. I focused first on increasing my income. How could I create more value and earn more money? But then second to this, I started looking at every dollar that came into my life under the microscope of being a CEO. I knew what it took to increase my income. I knew how hard I had to work, and I started managing and looking at my dollars as little tiny soldiers. Every dollar had to do a job. If it wasn't doing a job, I had to redeploy it to do a better job for me to buy my time back. Making better spending decisions started to boost my savings. And after 4 years, I hit that goal of saving 50% of my income. And today, I've been doing this for now the better part of a decade. Let me tell you, it makes investing so much easier when you're putting that much capital aside. And I don't care how much money you're making, when you're saving 50% of your income, it makes it so you can look at the lens of investing with so much less pressure. The reason why so many people struggle with investing is they're saving 2 to 3 to maybe 5% of their income, and now their investments have to make up the rest. But if you flip that scale and you're saving 50% of your income, you can start investing in things that are virtually guaranteed to win, and win simply because of the volume of dollars going into the account. The bottom line is this: saving is the key to building wealth, not actually investing. Today, we're going to be diving into how much of your paycheck you should be saving and why it's so crucial, and how to build the habit that will transform your future. So stick with me and let's get started. Listen, if you haven't got this point yet, the one thing, the only thing in fact, that you have full control over inside of your pathway to financial freedom is your savings rate. Whether you're making $50,000 a year or $500,000 a year, this is your choice of how much you're saving. And the first challenge I want to give you is, if you're not saving at least 10% of your income, you're setting yourself up for financial struggle down the line. You will never actually become financially free. Now, I recommend at the minimum aiming for 15 to 20% of your income going towards saving for the future. And you might be thinking to yourself, but doesn't Rich Dad Poor Dad, the book that everyone talks about, the book that I talk about, say savers are losers? I want to clear that up right now. Robert Kiyosaki says savers are losers. And when he's saying this, what he's talking about is where you you save your money. Saving is actually critical to the equation, but if you put it in the wrong places, things that are getting destroyed by inflation, you're going to lose. But if you can take your savings and align it with economic conditions, my friends, you are going to win. But the critical component is this: winning in the game of money is saving a portion of your income and putting it in the right assets. Make more than you spend and invest the difference wisely. Without the habit of savings, you become dependent on your job, dependent on the government, dependent on Wall Street delivering extraordinary returns. This is a recipe for disappointment, and it's not freedom. And to counterbalance all of this, I want you to consider one of the best books ever. In fact, it's one of the simplest books. It's called The Richest Man in Babylon. In this book, the author says that the golden rule is simple: 10% of all I make is mine to keep. Yet most people overlook this step. They're hoping that their investments will save them, that they can earn a high enough return. They put off savings to when it's convenient, when they have more money. But my friends, if you don't build the habit today, that habit will never come into play. Whether you're making just a little bit or a lot, if you don't have the habit of savings, it doesn't matter how much you make. But if you can start saving 15, 20, 30, 40, 50% of your income and compound that habit over time, your path to financial freedom is inevitable. Let's look at a practical example for someone earning $120,000 a year. That breaks down to about $10,000 per month in gross income. After taxes, you're left with maybe $7,600 in take-home pay every single month. Most people have no idea how much money they're spending on things like eating out, subscriptions, or those little impulsive purchases that we always make. So here's the first step. Print out your last 3 months of blank credit card statements and all bank statements. And I want you to do one thing. I want you to gain a sense of awareness, like a CEO, of where your employees are going, your dollars, your little soldiers in pursuit of financial freedom. Start to get clear on your money habits. And I promise you, doing this is going to rock your world. So if you print out the last 3 months of your credit card statements, your bank statements, and go through them with a fine-tooth comb, your job is to do this. Ask yourself a couple of questions with every dollar that went out of your life. Number one, did it go towards a goal that you might have? That goal could be saving for a vacation. That goal could be spending on date night. That goal could be putting your kids through some type of a lesson. But did it go towards a goal? Number two, did that dollar or expense go towards something that brings value to your life? Did buying that last pair of shoes create more value in your life than the expense that it created? So did it go towards a goal, or did it go towards a value? Or number three, did it go towards a necessary living expense? Now listen, paying for cell phones and utility bills and mortgages and all of that kind of stuff, that's just part of living. But don't gloss over this, because most people just think that's just the way it is. But I promise you there's wiggle room there. Look at the cost of living. Look at where your money's actually going and ask yourself, did every dollar do the maximum job that you wanted it to do? And on every single expense, all I want you to do is put a smiley face. Yes, it's something you like spending money on. It aligned with your goals. A frowny face. No, it didn't align with a goal or a value, and it wasn't a good expense. And honestly, I can't even remember why I spent money on this thing. Or put a neutral face. Smiley face, frowny face, neutral face. Go through the last 3 months and gain a sense of awareness of how much money came into your life, and more importantly, my friends, how much money went out of your life, okay? Now that's step number one. Now you know where your money's going. Step number two is I want you to determine your savings rate. Take your total amount of income over these last 3 months. Look at paychecks, look at bonuses, look at side hustles, look at Venmo payments. How much money came into your life? And then with this, how much money do you have to show for it? This is going to help you determine how much you're actually putting aside. Are you following the golden rule of 10% of all I make is mine to keep? So let's say over the last 3 months, you brought in $36,000 of total income. To calculate your savings rate, you're going to look at how much money you have in IRAs, in savings accounts, or any other place that you're currently saving today, and divide that number, how much money you put in, with how much money you made. If you brought in $36,000, then your savings rate should be between $3,600 all the way up to $7,200. If you're not in that range, my friends, you're not in the 10 to 20% range of how much money you've kept. Now you understand how much money you've made, how much money you've kept, and where all your money is going. Now, the most important piece of this whole thing is just gaining a sense of awareness. Here's the reality, my friends. We have moved into a world of digital currency. What that means is it's so easy for money to come in our life, and it's even easier for it to go out. So many of our payments are set up on auto payment, and we forget about them. We swipe on a credit card and we forget why we bought the thing that we bought. We live in a world where it is so easy to spend money, and the only way to combat that is to gain a sense of awareness and build a new set of habits. My friends, if you follow this exercise, I promise you, there are more expenses going out of your life, those frowny faces, that you can turn upside down and turn that frown into a smile by redirecting it to a goal or a value. My friends, set the goal of achieving financial freedom in 10 years or less and tell your money what to do. That money represents what you've traded your time for, and it represents the tool to buy your time back. I want you to think about the other side of this seemingly difficult challenge to save more money. What would change in your life if money was no longer the reason driving your decisions? Would you still work at the same job? Would you still drive the same car? Would you take back your time and start living life on your terms? Would you travel differently? My friends, this is the vision of financial freedom. All comes to fruition by building the habit of savings, having a solid savings rate and a system that grows your money. If you're stuck in debt, paying off debt with a 20% interest rate is just like getting a guaranteed 20% return. Get out of debt, start putting money aside, and start building financial freedom. It all comes down to your habits. So here's what I want you to do. Use the example that I gave you. Take your income for the last 3 months and figure out how much money you've made. Calculate what a 20% savings target should be. If you've made $30,000 in the last 3 months, then you should have saved $6,000. Then figure out how much you've actually saved and calculate your real savings rate. That gap is the reason why you're not financially free. Next, go through your expenses. Use the smiley face, frowny face, neutral face framework that I gave you to just gain a sense of awareness of where your money went and is it doing the job that you actually want it to do. Then my friends, the challenge of this video is to become the CEO of your money. Figure out what it's doing today and tell it where to go tomorrow. You are in charge of your future by managing your finances now. So thanks for watching, my friends. In this video, I hope I helped you shift your mindset about saving and building wealth, because when you get this down, your path to financial freedom becomes inevitable. And your path to financial freedom is actually what this channel is all about. It's about opening up a gateway, a pathway to possibility in your life. Money is just a tool. Raise your financial IQ and understand how to use that tool more effectively to build and live a life that matters. My friends, if you like this video, then join me on the next one, and I'll see you on the other side.
We'll be right back.